This is a story about Joe Quigg and the influence that Rabbit Kekai had on him back in 1947. Although some of the annotations are incomplete, the story itself is very telling. And we finish this story with Mark Cunningham and Michael Ho interacting, having just read this piece. All of these pictures were sketched and annotated by Joe Quigg. 1947, Rabbit Kekai at Outside Queens, wave after wave, deliberately barreled on a 7-foot board. Outside at Big Queens in Hawaii, hanging 5 in the barrel on a 7-foot board in 1947, Rabbit Kekai, the best of the early modern style riders, also the most helpful to the young kids at Waikiki, and the most helpful to the first safari of Malibu surfers to Hawaii, 1947. History of the modern surfboard and modern high-performance riding styles. Rabbit Kekai, hanging 5 on a board while deliberately and deeply barreled. It was a whole new world for the 1947 surf safari of Malibu guys, the start of a new riding transition, never to return to the old ways. Rabbit Kekai was riding a 7-foot board in 1947, in an era when other adults were riding 10 to 11-foot boards. Rabbit was by far the most advanced rider I had seen at Waikiki or any place else during the 1930s and 1940s. Especially on those days when Queens would move outside to Big Queens, wave after wave, Rabbit would get deeply and deliberately barreled. In 1947, a surf safari of 6 of us from Malibu took a 4-month trip to Waikiki. We had already started the tradition to modern Malibu surfboards, but our riding styles were still crude, whereas Rabbit had developed a new riding style during the early 1940s. When the Malibu boys got back to Malibu, they combined Rabbit's higher Rabbit Kekai at Big Kunas in 1947 on his 7-foot hot curl board, with 5 toes wrapped around the nose inside the barrel. Drawn on my first trip to Hawaii in 1947, Rabbit premeditatedly and deliberately barreled. Wave after wave, Rabbit was the best at Waikiki. He started a transition to a higher level of excellence in surfing. 1947. Written and drawn in 1947 at Waikiki. Rabbit, on a first break day in 1947, premeditatedly and deliberately barreled at Outside Queens and/or Kaisers. Wave after wave, hanging 5 on his 7-foot board with no fin. At that time, the best, not just edge-barreled, more like cylindered. In 1947, the highest level of surfing skill I had ever seen, and an inspiration for a new way to dream. Of new riding styles plus new boards, a turning point for a new era in surfing, never to return to the old. This was on our first surf safari. There were 6 of us guys from Malibu going to Waikiki and back, leaving on the Matsonia and returning on the Lurleen, November 1947 to February 1948. Rabbit was good to me, very helpful and friendly always, happily and high-spirited. His surfing style was so high, slingshotted out of the first barrel, across the flat, and into the back door of the second section, getting barreled again, and out of the second section, going faster than he entered into it. No one else at that time. The canoe photo on the left says, "Before the start." This is a classic photo of the White Hoss, Huinalu, with Rabbit Kekai steering. They caught a wave all 3 times around. I never saw a canoe. Rabbit Kekai, steersman. 4th of July race at Waikiki, summer 1947. Pick, Huinalu, names of paddlers with Rabbit steering. The most awesome canoe race I ever saw in the past 70 years. 3 times around, it was the seniors' turn for their race 3 times around the outside flags. The flags were set 1 mile offshore. Ordinarily, that would put the flags outside of the whitewater or any rideable waves. But on this day, the surf was big and breaking almost out at the 1 mile flags. They call that first break canoes. And just outside of that, on a big day, there is an outside indicator where the flags are that sometimes gets hollow and fringes a little along the top. In this particular senior race, a few waves were fringing out there, the Huinalo seniors. A miracle race, 4th of July canoe race, senior team Rabbit steering. Rabbit Kekai, Club Huinalo, 3 times around. Rabbit and his crew finished an entire lap ahead. The race was at Waikiki. Rabbit and his team rode a wave all the way on all 3 laps. The surf was a huge first break. The turning flags were outside of the indicator waves. The inside flags on the beach, 3 times around. A lot of big white water and swamping. But Rabbit managed to catch a wave on all 3 times around as he turned the flag at the outside indicator.
This is Joe Quigg riding, huh?
And yeah, Quigg in 47 into the back door, the second section, getting barreled again. Oh my! Hi, Sydney.
This one slingshotted out of the first barrel.
Oh, it can't be this.
Okay.
Oh, the flat and into the back door of the second section, getting barreled again. And come out of the second section going faster than he entered into it. No one else at that time. 57, 60, 57, 67, 77, 87, 97, 07, 17. Next year. You know, 70 years ago.
So, and he's talking like they would talk about guys surfing now.
Right. That's what's crazy, right?
That's what they dream of now.
That's
just what he's saying.
Right.
You see Slater, I can talk about Slater doing that.
70 years ago, it's the same.
Now. Like, you go, okay, so didn't you, okay, you can just do it now.
Ain't nothing to it.
No,
Right.
that really blew me away.
Yeah, I'm so glad.
What? Did you ride before that song?
47, the start of a new riding transition, never to return to the old ways.
Unbelievable.
History of modern surfboard and modern high-performance riding software. Right, they'll say Bugs and the boys breaking down the door. That was right.
There
That sounds like busting down the door, right?
Yeah.
Riding mentor by far the most advanced rider I had seen.